Meteorologist Brian Hutton Jr. and we have our first tornado warning of the day now in central North Carolina. It is for Sampson, Johnston, and Wayne counties and goes until 3:15 this afternoon. The National Weather Service in Raleigh actually noting there are two storms they are watching, but only one has prompted the tornado warning, and that storm is now in Sampson County, and it's moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So those of you in portions of Sampson, Wayne, and Johnston counties want to make sure that you are paying attention to this and heading to your safe place as well, as this storm is moving off quickly to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So let me give you a closer look here on the storm that we are concerned with. This is the one here just to the west of Clinton is the one that we are concerned with, which has prompted this tornado warning. So this storm again is moving quickly. Oh, let me reset here. The storm is moving off quickly to the north and east, as I mentioned, at about 50 miles per hour. So this will quickly be moving into southwestern portions of Wayne County and southeastern portions of Johnston County as we move forward in time here over the next really about 15 to 20 minutes or so, because again, this is a very quick moving system. So let me go ahead and plot the storm track on again. This is moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So here are a list of locations that are in the path of this storm. Bennettsville, Beeman Crossroads, Red Hill, Hobton, Sutton Town, and Starlight here, all within the next, as I mentioned, about 15, 20 minutes or so as this moves through portions of Sampson County and then also into portions of Johnston County eventually and into portions of Wayne County. So let me go ahead and zoom back in here a little more towards this storm. Again, this is the one that we are concerned with right now. There is a tornado warning off to the south of this one as well, but that for now is only in the Bladen County, and so it is not in our area of concern. If you look here at rotation, normally we look for reds and greens to be close to each other. So our rotation sitting here again, this is about 9-10 miles west of Clinton, is where this system, this tornado, possible tornado is located. Again, this is Doppler indicated, but you also notice there's this other area of rotation just to the north, just to the west-northwest of Hobton near Newton Grove, just to the south of I-40. So there are two areas of circulation. The southern one is the one that the National Weather Service is concerned with for the possible tornado. That's what's prompted the warning. But there is a second rotation here, and the Weather Service notes this in the warning. However, this one is not the cause of the issuance of this warning, but it is something that we need to keep our eyes on here as we head through the course of the next, as I mentioned, about 15, 20 minutes as this continues moving off towards the north and east. So again, as I mentioned, let me put another storm track on here. Again, for those of you, give you an idea for those of you who are in the path of this system. So again, this eventually heading up towards Hobton, which is again, there's a rotation just to the west of you here in about the next 13 minutes or so. And then eventually, if this holds, could be near Grantham and southwestern portions of Wayne County, west of US 117 here again, as we head towards the end of the expiration this morning at 3:15. You're also taking a live look on the right-hand side here of the CBS 17 Storm Team Weather Beast. It is out and about on the roads near I-95 heading towards Sampson and Wayne counties where our areas of concern are here. So we have the Weather Beast on the road as well, keeping an eye on things. For now, again, our main concern is here into Sampson, Wayne, and Johnston County, specifically in Sampson counties where these two areas of rotation are, as this goes, again, as I mentioned, this warning goes until 3:15. Let me clear all this out and kind of do a reset here for everybody and kind of show you what we are dealing with. So it's been a very wet day across central North Carolina so far. And I think that the rain that we've seen through a good portion of the triangle and kind of west along and west of US 1, I think will help to hopefully stabilize the environment a little bit. And remember, that's the area that's currently under a slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Also, though, of concern is along and east of I-95. That's been the concern for us since we've been highlighting this as a possible severe weather day, and that's where so far our storms are firing over to the east of I-95. It's been much warmer so far today. Temperatures have gotten into the 70s. Not only that, it's also a little more humid, so the environment is a little better primed east of I-95 for the possibility of seeing severe storms. We also want to note as well that something that is new, I shouldn't say new, I guess has been since the last time you likely have seen one of us on the air. We do have a tornado watch that is in effect now for locations pretty much in Raleigh and points eastward. This goes until 10 o'clock this evening. So this is for everybody in Raleigh and eastward. So this includes those of you in Warren County, Halifax County, Edgecombe and Nash counties, Franklin, Wake, Johnston, Wilson, Wayne, Sampson, Harnett, Cumberland, and Hope counties. You are currently under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock this evening. Again, this is the area of the greatest concern, and I would not be surprised if Northampton County gets added a little later on today. But for now, these are the counties that are under concern. We still have our enhanced risk, again, mainly along and east of I-95, where we're currently seeing our active tornado warning. Again, isolated tornadoes are a concern today, along with damaging wind. Those are our primary concerns today. So let's get back to radar here again. We have one active tornado warning in our area now. This includes Sampson, Johnston, and Wayne counties, and this goes until 3:15 this afternoon. So again, we have another, what is that, about 30 minutes to go with this warning, as it's right now at 2:45. So say that again for me, Christy. Who do we have? Okay, yeah, and we are going to stay put here, obviously, with this tornado warning until it expires. So, again, this is the area of concern here into Sampson County. There are two areas of rotation that we are keeping our eyes on. One has prompted the warning. One is another area of rotation. So let me highlight, again, the area of rotation first that prompted the warning. This is just west of Clinton, south of US 421. The rotation is not impressive here, but there is rotation here, and it doesn't take much with all of the wind that we have in the atmosphere today to be able to drop a quick tornado out of this. So anything that shows even some remote signs of rotation is something that we want to keep our eyes on with this. The other area of rotation that is of concern is approaching Interstate 40 in Sampson County. This is just to the west-northwest of Hopton, just south of Newton Grove. So if you are near these locations east of Spivey's Corner, you're not included in this warning. If you are in these two sections here of Sampson County, you want to get into your safe place because, again, there could be a tornado that drops with this very quickly. We actually now have a second tornado warning that's for Cumberland and Sampson County. This storm is the one that looks like it's moving out of Bladen County. This one's also moving northeast at 50. So let me reset here because we now have two active tornado warnings. Yeah, it is the one that's coming out of Bladen County. So there are now two active tornado warnings, two warnings that include Sampson County. One for the original reason we are on the air that goes until 3:15. The other one is coming out of Bladen County, heading towards Cumberland and Sampson County, far southeastern Sampson County, and this goes until 3 o'clock, the southern warning. Again, so let me focus down here on this one since this is our newer warning. This does not include the city of Fayetteville. I want to stress that, Fayetteville, you are not included in this tornado warning for for Cumberland County. This is the far southeastern clip, just southeast of Stedman, closer to Roseboro, which is included in the second warning here. So let's dive into this a little bit here. Let's take a look inside the storm. And again, there is some rotation. It is weak at this point. But again, anytime we see any kind of signs of rotation within this, we want to take it very seriously today because these storms can drop pretty quickly. But again, this is a kind of a weaker area of rotation here that's exiting out of Bladen County that will clip perhaps far southeastern Cumberland County before it moves into Sampson County. So this is going to follow right behind the warning that is off to the north of this one as well. So again, we have two active tornado warnings, both of which include Sampson County. Again, the southern warning, the one I'm focused on here, Cumberland and Sampson County, this goes until 3 o'clock. The northern warning, which includes Sampson, Johnston, and Wayne County, that goes until 3:15. So we now have two active warnings that go until the 3 o'clock hour here across the southeastern portions of central North Carolina. So let's again zoom out and reset everybody. If you're just tuning in, maybe you heard your weather radio go off and wondering what's happening outside while we're on the air for you. We have two active tornado warnings across central North Carolina. One is for Cumberland and southern Sampson County that goes until 3. The other one is basically northeastern Sampson County, southeastern Johnston County, and southwestern Wayne County. That goes until 3:15. Right now, both of these are radar indicated. We have no confirmation from the Weather Service of a tornado on the ground, but that doesn't mean that one hasn't either dropped or could be dropping here very quickly. So you want to take this extremely seriously today because, again, these storms are moving quickly, and the environment will allow these storms to be able to rotate if they can take advantage of it. And in fact, the one that's here, I'm going to zoom in a little closer here, the one that's here in northeastern Sampson County actually starting to look a little more ominous on radar. In fact, it looks like we do have a tightening of the couplet here. If you notice, there weren't really any reds or greens together. Now we are starting to see that come together here, just crossing US 421 here in Sampson County. This is north of Clinton. So Clinton, you're in the clear here, but if this rotation can hold together, this is making a beeline towards Hopton along US 701 and eventually towards I-40. So south of I-40 here in Sampson County is the primary concern. So right now this rotation is crossing US 421. We'll be approaching US 701 here shortly. Again, this is moving at 50 miles per hour. So this is a very fast moving system. So I need you to definitely be taking this seriously as this system moves in that direction. So let me come out here and we're going to reset for you. I'm going to zoom back in here and put a track on this so that we can kind of move this forward in time and give you an idea of where this is heading. So again, this is moving very quickly off to the northeast, and it's doing so at about 50 miles per hour, which will take it to the expiration of the warning area here right at about 3:15 when the warning expires. So again, Hobson, you have under 10 minutes now to this circulation's on top of you. Sutton Town just a little longer, just after 3 o'clock. Starlight at 3:06. Grantham at 3:12. That is in southwest Wayne County. And then Stevens Mill at 3:17. That is technically outside the warning area and outside the expiration time of the warning. So we'll see if this gets extended downstream. But the rotation looks like it has tightened here significantly from when we first got on the air. So if this isn't producing a tornado, I would not be surprised if it is about to. So those of you, as I mentioned, especially towards Hobtown along US 701 north of US 421 in Sampson County, I need you guys to get into your safe place with this. Here's a look on the right side there. That is a picture from the CVS 17 Chevy Weather Beast, again, that is out on the roads heading in that direction. It is in Sampson County towards where this storm is. You know where exactly in Sampson County? Can you give me like a road? Okay, so we'll get an exact location, but it is in Sampson County, so it's likely very close to intercepting this storm here. And if you can, guys in the back relay, have them head towards Hobson right there off I-40. That's where they're going to want to be as this approaches. So again, this is the one that is of a primary concern here as this rotation is tight. Let me kind of clear off some of the stuff here, and let me switch you back to our regular radar mode that you're used to seeing as well. And so part of the reason I'm concerned with this, if you notice, we kind of have this little notch-shaped feature on the back. That's a sign of what we call the rear flank downdraft, which comes down on the backside of a thunderstorm, rotates around, and usually where that intersects the updraft, that's what forms a hook echo you're likely used to hearing about where a tornado could form. So we have the signs that this storm is trying to produce a tornado. Again, the atmosphere is favorable, and on radar depiction, even without velocity data, just our regular radar picture, this storm looks like it might be trying to do that. So again, those of you just north of US 421 and along the 701 corridor north of Clinton, you're in the clear with this one. Even though you are in the warning for this one, you're in the clear. This is north of you. I need you to be in your safe place with this, as again, this is quickly moving off to the north and east. We also have the storm that is again just off to the south that includes Cumberland and Sampson County, southern Sampson County in the warning. That goes, as I mentioned again, until 3 o'clock. This storm is exiting out of Bladen County as where this one is coming from. It is still not yet into Cumberland or Sampson County, but it is just about on the doorstep, though, is just about on the doorstep. I'm going to zoom in a little closer here and kind of show where this is as we dive into it. So, again, the one that we are concerned with is this big area that is right here, that's right along NC 242. That's the storm that has prompted the tornado warning that includes southeastern Cumberland County and southwestern Sampson County. So, again, Sampson, you have 2 warnings in effect right now. This storm, should it be able to hold together, would be making a trek towards Roseboro if it can hold together. So if we dive into this one again, the rotation is significantly weaker here. It's somewhere in here is where our rotation is. So that's where we're watching for possible signs of rotation. It's extremely weak at this point. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Again, it's right now still in northeastern portions of Bladen County. It will cross, perhaps clip far southeastern Cumberland County, down where NC 242 and NC 210 come together. That's close to where this may clip Cumberland County. So again, those of you in Fayetteville, you are not included in this warning. This is southeast of Stedman, giving you reference points of exactly where this is. So again, Cumberland, in Cumberland County, Fayetteville, you are not included. Roseboro, if this area of circulation holds together, it's heading in your direction here. So let me go ahead and put a storm track on this one as well. Again, this is also moving northeast at 50, and I have a feeling that's about how fast these storms are going to be moving today. Let me zoom back out here. Actually, I'm too tight, and won't let me put the full 50-mile-an-hour track on that one because it's moving so fast, and I'm in too tight on that. So I'm going to switch back here to our regular velocity mode, and then I'm going to zoom in here. And I'll put a storm track on the southern storm here, the one that we are concerned with. That's moving into again, we're moving into Cumberland and Sampson County here over the next really about 5 to 7 minutes or so. So let's see. So here's the 50, and as I say that, we actually have an update to the tornado warning, the northern Sampson County warning. So here's where this one is heading. Again, it's almost into Cumberland County now, heading towards McDaniels. As I mentioned, Roseboro, you are in line with this. You may be on the northern edge of the system here, of the storm as it moves through about 310, which actually takes place that's just past expiration time with this, and then into Bonnetsville, and then eventually towards Clinton at 3:20, and we would likely see a new warning issued with that one. We have an update on our northern warning from the National Weather Service. This is still radar indicated so far. No reports of damage yet. It slowed down a bit, moving northeast at 45, and the Weather Service continues to note that in this line there are still the possibility of seeing multiple rotations, which could mean we see multiple possible tornadoes within the northern warning. So this is the northern warning that goes until 3:15, and so there's a couple of areas of rotation they're talking about. So let me highlight those for you again. Here's the main one that I'm concerned with. This is again just south of Hobson here, just south of I-40. This is about to cross US 701 now. We'll be crossing I-40 here, both of them within the next about 5 minutes. There's also another area of rotation that is significantly broader and weaker. This one is is really right on the Johnston-Wayne County line near Grantham, also moving northeast. So there's a couple of areas here in this kind of broken line segment that the Weather Service is watching, but the one that is of most concern is near Hobson in Sampson County. That has the tightest, to couple it with it, the tightest circulation. And in fact, of all the areas of rotation we're watching, the three we're watching here across southeastern parts of central North Carolina, that one looks the best. So that's the one that we're keeping our eyes on. So we do have the CBS 17 Weather Beast, as I mentioned, in Sampson County. Our own Steve Sprasia is in the Weather Beast. Steve, what are you seeing out there, and where are you?
We just got off US 40, Interstate 40, and we are now on 70 heading towards Clinton, passing Maple Leaf Road, if that's any indication. And as you were talking about the storm approaching, the skies got very dark. Let us give you a quick look at the situation that we're seeing right now. We're having intense rain happening here, and we're moving in the direction, hopefully, to intersect that storm that you were talking about. As you indicated, Brian, it's all, at this point, radar-indicated rotation, but at any moment, that thing could just drop right out of the sky. We have got to the point now where it's very difficult to see. Our photographer, Tom Swift, is driving the Weather Beast. We're doing about 30 miles an hour. It doesn't necessarily look like that on the video that you're looking at, but that's how slow we're going. We're trying to very, very carefully pick our way through. Let's try, and I've been trying to, during the drive down, I was trying to take a look at the sky to give you an indication of just exactly what the sky was looking like. And we saw a lot of clouds and a lot of low-level scud. Let's take a quick look at that real quickly. Sorry, I've got the wrong, there you go. We don't see any of that right now. It's just a solid wall of clouds out there. Let's go back to the original shot down here from the front of the view. We've got some traffic coming our way. Let me take a look at the map and to tell you exactly where we are right now. According to the map that we're looking at, our travel map, we are heading towards State Route 1714. We just passed 1845, and we're on our way to Hobson. So we're heading right in the middle of it. Driving is becoming very, very difficult. The camera doesn't quite see what the eye sees. The camera actually sees a little bit better than what we're seeing. As I look with my eyes, I can hardly see much beyond the hood of the Weather Beast, but the camera is seeing a little bit better than that. The camera also makes the sky look a whole lot brighter than it is. You really can't see a lot of the fog. The camera almost makes it look like the sky is blue, but it's not. It's a solid wall of gray. We are going to continue towards Hobson at this point, Hobtown. The rain is abating somewhat, but we're right in the middle of it. So, Brian, if you've got any advice to us as to where we might need to alternate a route or update our route, let me know, and we certainly will do that.
Yeah, be careful as you head towards Hobson there. You are heading right kind of through the core of that storm there. So do be very careful. I don't want you to sneak up and get on the tornado and not realize that that's where you are. So be very careful out there, guys. Again, that's Tom Swift and Steve Sprasia there live on the Chevy Weather Beast. They'll keep us updated throughout, not only while we're here on wall-to-wall coverage, but throughout the evening as well. And so as Steve mentioned, again, he's heading towards Hobson, which is right where the circulation is just about on top of. Let me switch back over to, in fact, the rotation's pretty much there on top of Hobson. So again, your time is up. This is about to cross US 701 here in Sampson County, and then we'll be crossing I-40 likely within another couple of minutes as this moves. Again, this is moving northeast at 45. It slowed a nudge. It was northeast at 50. It slowed down to northeast at 45. And when storms slow down, that usually means rotation intensifies, and we've seen that happen with this storm. Again, this is, still some of the best this rotation has looked so far today. So if it's not producing a tornado, it's likely very close to doing it. So again, those of you in Hopton along US 701 from 701 all the way up to I-40, and then also for those of you on I-40. And it looks like they're going to continue this tornado warning. There's a new tornado warning up for Cumberland, Sampson. It looks like they're just overriding on top of this one. It's for the storm that's southwest of Clinton. It's also moving northeast at 45. So they've kind of extended the warning. So again, we still have multiple tornado warnings here in Sampson County. Let me go ahead and zoom out just a nudge. So I want to try and grab everything intact. So again, pretty much all of north central Sampson County, you are currently under a tornado warning. So let me switch this back to our regular view. If you notice here, there are kind of multiple line segments here that have potential to produce a tornado. Here's one thunderstorm here. Here's the one further south that prompted the warning in Bladen County, which has been allowed to expire. And this newer warning has taken over as this moves into the National Weather Service Raleigh air coverage area and out of National Weather Service Wilmington. They're in charge of Bladen County. Again, Johnston and Wayne counties, you're still under the tornado warning with the first part of northern Sampson County until 3:15, and then the central part of Sampson County, which is under tornado warning now until 3:30, which includes southeast Cumberland County. Again, this does not include Fayetteville. Those of you in Fayetteville, you may be getting a notification of a tornado warning in Cumberland County. It does not include you. This is southeast of Stedman. As I mentioned, we're NC 242 and 210 connect. That section of the county, southeast of Stedman, is under warning, not Fayetteville, not Fort Bragg. So if you are seeing that notification on your phone, I want you to be aware you're not currently under the gun. It's in the southeastern part of the county. Sampson County is really the one who's under the gun here. And then this is, again, heading towards eventually Wayne County and southeastern Johnston County. Mount Olive and Grantham, you are included in the tornado warning until 3:15. You are not included currently for the 3:31, although that will likely change as we'll likely see an extension of that. On the right-hand side there, you can see that is our tower cam, on one of our camera pictures here down in Sampson County. The skies are extremely dark with these storms, and you're likely, because it is raining so heavily, I do want to point out that you're likely not going to see this tornado if it's there. Because it is raining, it's likely going to be rain-wrapped. So don't go try looking for it. I know we have a lot of weather enthusiasts who may be trying to find it. Don't try and find it. Hide from it first. You can try and find it later. I don't want you to be trying to find it and all of a sudden it's on top of you. You can't see it. You can see that the sky is extremely dark. And we do, as Steve mentioned, have some scud or some lowering of the clouds. Now that is not indicative of a tornado, but that tells us the power of the winds at the lowest portion of the atmosphere, that we're actually getting the water vapor to condense as it goes up. You can see some of those lower hanging features there, especially if you look on the bottom right-hand side of the screen there, where you see kind of that lighter gray and then some of that darker gray, how it's hanging down. That's just some low-hanging scud. That's just the air that's going up into the thunderstorm. As I look at this, I don't see any rotation here from this camera picture, at least that I can see. Again, it is obscured by some raindrops, and this is only a very small section of the sky that we're seeing here. But we are seeing definitely some, again, it looks like more some low-hanging scud at this point. I don't see an indication of a wall cloud there, but it's definitely at least some low-hanging scud. And the fact that we're seeing it this low does indicate if the storm can rotate, the cloud bases are really low, which makes it easier for a tornado to try and make it to the ground. So again, all of the signs point that if something's going to happen, the atmosphere is at least capable of doing it. The question is, can these storms actually do it? Obviously, we hope they don't, but the atmosphere is showing signs that it is capable of doing what we have been talking about for the last couple of days, and that is to be able to produce a tornado. So let me focus back in here on this northern storm first, and then I'm going to move back down south to the southern storm. I'm going to focus on this northern one first because, again, this has had the tighter rotation on it. So the rotation now is just, if you look right where the second warning is expiring. So it has already crossed I-40. Again, this is moving quickly. This is about to be on the Starlight community. So those of you in southwestern portions of Wayne County need to be getting into your safe place. This looks like it will be just to the southwest of Grantham, where it will cross, and just west of Grantham. So this looks like it may try and clip the Johnston-Wayne County line eventually here north of Starlight, west of Grantham, as this rotation moves. Again, this rotation keeps looking better and better. Now, I will also note, as the storm moves north, it is getting closer to the radar that's southeast of Raleigh. And so the radar is actually looking lower into the storm than where it was. But the fact that we're seeing rotation looking better as this moves northward and as we're getting a better look into the storm is a worrying sign that perhaps this is trying to do something. That is a very tight, that's kind of a classic tornado couplet we look for on velocity to see winds going towards and away from the radar. The green winds there are actually heading heading towards the radar, which again is southeast of Raleigh. Red is heading away. So that circulation is right there approaching the Johnston-Sampson County line east of Newton Grove, and will be moving really pretty much right over just to the west of the Starlight community, and then heading towards the Johnston-Wayne County line. So let me go ahead and zoom out a nudge on this. I want to put on a storm track with this because this is moving pretty quickly still. Again, this is northeast at 45, so I want to try and give you guys some heads up that are in the path of this. So again, this will cross, let me clear that off. Again, Starlight here in about 3 minutes. As I mentioned, you need to get into your safe place. Rainertown at 3:24, which again is outside the expiration of the warning, but this is likely going to be continued further down. Princeton at 3:29 and Rains Crossroads at 3:34. Current estimated arrival times. Again, this could nudge a degree or a minute or two either direction. So again, Starlight, your time is up. You need to be getting into your safe place with this. So the National Weather Service here is updating this tornado warning. This is still so far radar indicated. This is 12 miles to the northwest of Mount Olive, moving northeast at 50, so it started to speed back up just a nudge. But again, between 45 or 50 is really irrelevant. That changes arrival time by maybe a minute or two, so that's not really an important detail for us. I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on the fact that we have the storm that's moving into Wayne County. We also have the southern storm here that is now fully, it looks like, into Sampson County, which means that we will likely see the Cumberland portion of this warning dropped here shortly. This is between Roseboro and McDaniels in Sampson County. This is also moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. If this holds on its current track, this will miss Clinton just to the north and west, but Hobson again coming up here, what we have here in about, again, 25 minutes, you may be under the gun again. So again, this southern storm is not quite as impressive with rotation. There is some rotation there, but it's weak. But again, if we're seeing any type of rotation, you need to take it seriously today because the atmosphere is capable of producing a tornado. So if you see if you're under a warning, you need to be in your tornado safe place, which is the lowest floor. If you have a basement, that's a great place to be. A storm shelter is even better. If not, the lowest floor of wherever you are. So if you're in an apartment building, make friends with your downstairs neighbors very quickly and say, hey, can I hang out with you while we're under the gun here? You want to be away from exterior walls and windows, so in an interior room like a closet or a bathroom, and then protect your head and chest, because a tornado is not what kills you. It's the debris in the tornado that can kill you. So if you have a pillow, a helmet, lots of blankets, jackets, you probably all have your winter coats out because it's been so cold and it's going to be cold again tomorrow. Protect your head and chest. Get into, the fetal position, in essence, to protect yourself from flying debris if you're in the path of these storms. So make sure that you are in your safe place as these cross over. So again, this is the southern storm here that's moving northeast at 50. There are 2 active warnings here in Sampson County. The northern one is about to expire, and I expect here very shortly that we are going to see the National Weather Service extend this warning into portions of Wayne County a little further. So let me zoom out here and kind of reset. Again, so right now we have 2 active tornado warnings across central North Carolina. Both are to our south and east. In fact, Cumberland County, you have now been dropped from the tornado warning. As I mentioned, that was likely about to happen. So Sampson County, you have 2 warnings. The northern one's until 3:15, but the southern one, in essence, overrides it for the storm approaching from the southwest. That goes until 3:30. Southeastern Johnston and southwestern portions of Wayne County, along with northern Sampson, you're on a warning until 3:15, and I expect that this warning will be extended further down in the portions of Wayne and Johnston and likely Wilson County within the next 7 minutes. I doubt they're going to let this one expire because the rotation there has been the best so far today. So let me put this into motion and kind of reset for where everybody is. Again, the heaviest rain across the northern portions now of our area will hopefully help stabilize us a little bit. It's been raining in the triangle. It's been raining across western parts of the area. Hopefully that helps to limit our severe potential as we head through the rest of the day. But the leading edge of this, to the eastern side of our area, east of I-95, hasn't seen a lot of rain today, and so that is our best shot for us to see any active weather, specifically our tornado threat, is located here. And then we have, as I mentioned, right now 2 active tornado warnings because of that. We also have our CBS 17 weather beast on the road in Sampson County. It's near Hobson, where we've seen one area of rotation move through and another one is approaching. Steve, as you're approaching, is there anything that you've seen, any damage or any signs of rotation as you've been moving through Sampson County?
Nothing. We parked just outside of the Hobton Middle School for a couple of minutes. That's where you were getting those live pictures of the sky and so forth. We're now on the Hobton Highway going back into Hobton itself. Let me give you a look at the what we're seeing. That's what we see from the front of the weather beast. But now let's pan around a little bit. That's the sky shot. And if you begin to look and move and look at that sky shot, you'll see that as we get more towards our west and south, look at how the sky starts to change, Brian. And you're looking for like a wall-type cloud. We aren't seeing anything like that, but we certainly are seeing some heavy, heavy clouding right here. A lot of that scud that you were talking about is still there, but also, as we pan around a little bit more, you can see what we're trying to do a 360 pretty much. And because we're moving, it's difficult to see the clouds we're moving. When we were standing still, you could see those clouds were racing at a fairly rapid rate. You had indicated the storm had about a 50 mile an hour speed, and it certainly looked like that the way the clouds were racing. But again, you can see that as we continue our 360 around, you can see what the clouds look like. We have seen no rain whatsoever. What are you seeing, Tom, right ahead of you? Do I need to go to the front camera for a moment? Let me go to the front camera. Okay, what are we looking at right there? Okay, we've got a significant wind. Tom just pointed this out. You'll see it in a second. See that flag in your about 10 o'clock position? Those two flags in front of the Carr Memorial Christian Church, they're flying straight out right now. So there's a significant amount of wind showing you exactly what the conditions are. Let's go back to the sky shot again, and we'll continue our pan for just a moment. And if you see anything you want us to stop at, Brian, you let us know, because you're the meteorologist and you know better than we. We're just sort of playing around here right now with the camera, just trying to give you an indication of what the sky looks like. If you look straight ahead of us, you can see that it doesn't look that bad. But once you go into the closer view and you start panning around, and we're actually looking back right now on the highway, back towards Interstate 40, back towards where 701 and 40 junction. It's quite a number of miles back, but that's the view you're looking at right now. So you're looking at the rear of the vehicle right now as opposed to the front of the vehicle. If that helps you at all, Brian, I hope it does.
That does.
It gives you an indication of what the storm is doing. And as you indicated, Hopton was going to be in the crosshairs once again. So we're going to try and stay in this area. We might even just sit and park for a bit just to wait and see if anything else crosses our path. But as you indicated, we're in the thick of it right now.
Yeah, and that second storm is heading your direction, as you mentioned. It should be there probably about 15 minutes or so. So yeah, you're going to about to see the second storm. And as Steve looked backwards, he's looking back towards what you see there on radar on my left-hand side there, that big cluster of heavy rain that's over the middle portion of Sampson County. That's what he's looking back into. The northern storm that prompted the initial tornado warning is now approaching US 13 west of Grantham. That's moved again. That was the one that moved near Hopton originally that Steve sat at, and that's this storm, the first one, the northern one in Wayne County now, and what's moving through. So far, we only have a report of about 300 power outages in Sampson County. That's good news. I mean, there are power outages, but we don't have widespread power outages at this point, which means likely that we haven't seen significant damage, which is good news. I mean, the winds are going to be gusty. Even if the thunderstorm is not moving over top of you, and whether or not there's a tornado, it's still going to be extremely gusty regardless. But the good news is, so far, I have seen no damage reports come in, and there are only, again, about 300, a little less than 300 power outages so far in Sampson County. Good news considering what radar has looked like so far today. So let me go ahead and let me kind of reset, because I expect we're about to see a continuation of this tornado warning any minute. And so I kind of want to reset and give everybody, again, a frame of reference. If you're watching us in Raleigh, Durham, Sanford, Fayetteville, right now there's only some light showers there. All of the heavy rain is now in the northeastern parts of our area towards Halifax, Northampton, and Mecklenburg counties, as well as parts of Warren County. And then we have our thunderstorms that are rolling along just to the east of I-95 through portions of Sampson and now into Wayne and Johnston counties. And these storms that are across the southern part of our area moving to the north and east, these are the ones that we've been talking about we were concerned with had a potential to produce tornadoes. And again, so far these have been radar indicated. The Weather Service has not passed along any damage reports. As I mentioned, so far the damage reports as far as power outages have been minimal. I mean, there are some, but so far they've been minimal. And so we'll continue to keep an eye on these. But again, we have 2 active tornado warnings. Both of them include Sampson County. The northern one is about to expire here in about a minute. And so I'm waiting here to see if the Weather Service continues this for more of Wayne, Johnston, and Wilson County. So that's why I'm keeping us on this full view here for just a second, because I want to see if this new warning comes in. Because again, it's about to expire here in just under a minute. The second warning goes until 3:30, which includes the same areas in Sampson County we have been talking about for the storm that moved out of Bladen County, clipped far southeastern Cumberland County, and is now now rolling through central portions of Sampson County to the west of Clinton. So again, there are 2 active warnings right now. We'll see if the Weather Service does here, as I mentioned, in the next about 30 seconds as this northern warning is about to expire, and then we'll focus back in on either this new warning that's extended or the one remaining warning that we'll have active that's until 3:30. Again, we're kind of holding here to see what the Weather Service does. They've given no indication if they're going to issue a continuance or not, but I want to have a full view up here should they issue it, so we can everybody here can see exactly who is included in it when this new warning comes down, if it does come down. So again, just kind of pausing here for a second. But we are still also watching as we continue through the day for rain to our west with a cold front that could produce damaging wind and also an isolated tornado threat as well. So this isn't our only round of severe weather today. This is our most potent round right now and most potent round of the day, but this doesn't mean we're done with severe weather when this crosses. All right, so we hit 3:15. You notice that first warning has expired. The Weather Service has not extended it at all. So we'll wait. So it looks like they're not going to continue downstream at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that storm that, though, is into portions far western portions of Wayne County, because again, the rotation there was impressive for a while. So since there is only now 1 active warning, we can focus wholeheartedly on that one. So again, this isn't for portions of Sampson County. Notice off to our south, there's another warning. So again, these storms are going to be moving northeastward for a while. So the storm now has just crossed Roseboro. Kind of just now to the east of, in fact, of NC 242, moving northeastward. So this will be approaching the 421 corridor northwest of Clinton here very shortly. So let me go ahead and pause our animation here, and let me go ahead and put a storm track on. So again, we're heading pretty much in the exact same direction that we've been talking about. So let me clear those icons out of the way. So again, Kitty Fork here in about 10 minutes. Red Hill then about 3:30, which is when the warning expiration time is. Hobton continues. Hobton now goes until 3:35, and the Weather Service has gone ahead and issued the new warning. They delayed that a bit, but they have issued it. It is still, though, radar indicated. It's 11 miles northwest of Mount Olive. It's moving northeast at 35 now. And this is for Johnston and Wayne County. So let me go ahead, as I mentioned, I wanted to kind of get everybody up to par here of where this was going to be. And so here is our update for us. So again, this now does include the city of Goldsboro. In fact, pretty much all of Wayne County, all of basically central and northern Wayne County is included in this new warning, and then far eastern portions of Johnston County. This does not include Smithfield. This does not include Selma. This does not include Benson. This does not include Clayton. We are well east of I-95 with this. So let's go ahead and focus in on our new warning here, and I'll get you a storm track put up on this as well. As again, this includes pretty much almost all of Wayne County. So again, it's for this storm here that is right on the Johnston County line right now. Just north of Grantham. That's why this warning here has been issued by the National Weather Service. There is still some rotation here. It is not nearly as impressive as it was earlier. That's a good news. We want to see weaker rotation, but there is still rotation here. And again, we're pretty close to the radar as well out again, southeast of Raleigh. So we're getting a pretty good look into the storm as well. And again, this, as I mentioned, is moving off towards the northeast at 35. So this has started to slow down a little more. It had slowed down to 45 for a while, but now this is moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So here are the estimated arrival times. So this should stay north of, or clip, if it does clip, the northern side of Goldsboro, heading towards Rainertown at 3:22, Rosewood at 3:28, Belfast near 3:40, Stony Creek at 3:40, and then Fremont at 3:46. Again, this will be on the northern side of Goldsboro, so likely north of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Again, this warning goes until 4 o'clock. So this is for Johnston and Wayne counties until 4 o'clock. Johnston County, though, you'll be clipped shortly out of this, likely as this main area of rotation continues moving north and eastward. But I also want you to notice, let me clear everything off here. There's also a second area of rotation. The Weather Service has been noting that there have been multiple areas of rotation that is just outside of the warning polygon here, just north of Princeton, just south of Kenly, that's likely also moving northeast towards Lacoma and then towards portions of Wilson County. So I have to keep an eye on that as well. But the one that has prompted the warning is the one that's actually now in Johnston County. It's north of Grantham, almost due north of Grantham, moving northeast. And should it hold together, it will cross just north of downtown Goldsboro towards the 795 corridor here in about 15 to 20 minutes. So there's one rotation that has prompted the warning. There is a second area of rotation, though, that we are going to keep our eyes on here that's on the Johnston-Wayne County line. And then we also have south of this also the warning that is in Sampson County. That again, the Sampson County warning is still in effect as well. This one goes until 3:30. The rotation, though, in the Sampson County warning continues to be very weak. It's situated about here. If you notice, we don't see any reds anymore with this area of rotation. We go from kind of the yellow to the green to the gray, or the grayish color there, and that gray is basically a speed value coming back to the radar of about 0. So there's rotation, but it is extremely weak here in the southern portion of Sampson County. We do have a storm report that just came in actually from Sampson County near Salemburg. Emergency manager has an unconfirmed report of a funnel cloud that was near Five Bridge Road and Bearskin Road in Sampson County. Again, that's 5 miles northeast of Salemburg. So an unconfirmed report of a funnel cloud from the storm that has now prompted the warning in Johnston and Wayne County. Again, so it's unconfirmed. And Steve Sprache was down there. He didn't see any signs of a funnel when he saw it on Hobson. This would have been a little further south. But go ahead, Steve. What are you seeing?
All right. Thank you for going back to us right now. We're back in the same spot again by the Hopton Middle School, parked in that same area again because you had said that there was going to be some problems. Let's do a sky scan real quickly. That's the front view that we're seeing from the view. Now let's take that sky scan and look at how quickly those clouds are moving once again. As you indicated, there was a report of a funnel cloud that was supposedly in the vicinity of Five Bridge Road and also in Sampson County, and I believe we're hearing thunder right now, aren't we, Tom? Is that what that is? I've got my noise-canceling headset on, so it's difficult to see. But let's do a little bit of a pan here and show you what we're seeing in the sky all the way around. We'll do a 360 pan, and the reason that we chose this spot is because we have good sight lines. We're able to actually, there's no trees in the way for the most part, so we're able to give you a good 360 look at the sky all the way around. You are going to now look, we just passed the water tower. The water tower would be heading towards 701 into Hobton itself, and we're going right around. You can see the middle school now right behind us. And again, taking a look at that sky, and we're going to look down in a moment. You'll be looking down 701 towards Interstate 40, where 701 would junction to Interstate 40. That is right down there, pretty much in the center of your picture. Let me give you there's a little bit better view of it for those of you who know the area. But again, we're not seeing anything in the way of funnel clouds or rotation. We are just seeing some rather fast-moving scud clouds right now. And let me hold this picture steady for a moment again so you can get a sense. I put the tree line in the very bottom of the frame so that you can get a sense of how they are moving against the sky. Now, we had a surface wind, as we indicated when we passed the local church. The flags were flying straight out, which would give you an indication of how fast the surface winds are. But up above us, a couple of thousand feet, the winds are obviously at a different speed. But that's what we're seeing right now, Brian. Again, we're not seeing anything in the way of funnel cloud or rotations, but as you had indicated, we're just outside of Hobton Center for the most part. So if anything is going to be coming through, we should see it, and we should see it very, very soon because that tornado warning is up until 3:30, at least 3:35. As I look at the windshield, and I can pop you that shot real quickly. It doesn't play so well on the camera, but we're starting to see some rain now once again that's starting to come down. So the next set of the storm is coming in, and if I go back to the sky camera right now and I pan over towards the water tower and look towards this would be in the direction of Hobton itself. There's that water tower, and now you're looking down 701 heading towards Hobton, and you can see with the sky camera that we're getting that broken set of clouds is going to be turning into a solid wall of clouds, a solid overcast, as the next part of the system moves in. So we are going to see more and more of that. I go back, it's probably a better frame of reference if I go back towards the water tower a little bit. And I have to just kind of get up. I went the wrong way. You'll have to pardon me. Photography is not my forte, especially with a remote-controlled camera. And you can see that we've got the clouds are starting to thicken up. We're starting to get some rain. So whatever is heading our way is coming in, and it's coming in rather quickly.
Yeah, the tornado part there,
Brian?
Steve, that we would be concerned with would be to you in about 15 minutes. So if you're the part that actually has the rotation with it, actually close to probably about to 8-ish now. But yeah, so about in 8 to 10 minutes, that part will be actually about right on top of you. So you are in a good spot. Just be careful. I know you and Tom will be.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay. I'm going to stay right here right now. And again, our locator is the Hopton Middle School. So if you see something coming up from behind us that we can't see because the cameras are facing in the wrong direction, do let us know. A couple of years back, a photographer, Dan West, and myself were up in Chapel Hill, and Bill Ray got on and told us, get out of the car right now because you are about to go into the tornado. And we literally ran up on the porch of some home and knocked on the door, and they let us in, and the tornado went past. So we've had that experience before, and it's not something we want to repeat, Brian.
No, I don't think anybody, if you've been near a tornado, you don't want to repeat. That's exactly right. We'll keep you updated, Steve. So again, the storm that Steve has been showing you, and the dangerous part is just now crossed US 421, heading towards US 701. Again, heading right towards Hopton, right where Steve is located. Again, and really in about the next 8-10 minutes or so, and the rotation is actually starting to look a little better. If you notice, the last time I showed you this, there was no red. We are now starting to get some hints of red popping back up, so the rotation is intensifying. It's not a strong rotation, but it's there. And again, the rotation does not have to be strong to produce a tornado. I want you to understand that, because again, we're not seeing the lowest part of the storm. When the radar beam goes up, because our Earth is curved, right, it goes up into the sky. So by the time it's hitting Sampson County, we're not seeing the part of the storm that Steve is directly looking at, which is why we have the weather beast out to see what we can't see here in the studio. So the rotation we're looking at is more in the middle portion of the storm, but that could be intensifying on the way down. So there is, again, a sign of rotation here that looks to be a little stronger. So there's definitely something we want to keep our eyes on here in northern Sampson County. Again, those of you in Hopton, you need to be in your safe place. I know you've been there now for a minute because of the first storm that moved through, but the second one is approaching you, and it is showing signs of strengthening. Not only is it showing that on radar, on our velocity product, it's also showing it on radar. Again, you can start to notice here as I highlight where the storm is, a little notch, a little hook looks like it's trying to form as we have air that's coming in from the southeast part of the southeast of the storm heading in this direction. That gives us what's called the rear an inflow notch. And that's why you see kind of, again, that notch shape on the north side of the storm. And so it's starting to indicate signs that maybe trying to get its act together a little better. So that's something we're gonna have to watch. Again, those of you in Hopton, this is now crossing 421, heading towards US 701, and eventually again I-40, right where Steve is located with the weather beast. It's heading in your direction, so you guys need to be in your safe place there. We also have our northern storm that has prompted our tornado warning for pretty much all of Wayne County and far eastern portions of Johnston County. This one goes until 4. The Sampson County warning goes until 3:30, but the Wayne County one goes until 4, and that is for the storm that is, again, it's kind of been hugging the line, actually, right between, right on the Johnston-Wayne County line, just south of Princeton. Let's dive into this, look at its rotation. Again, it's there. It looks like it may have intensified a nudge since the last time we checked in on it. This is right along and just south, actually, in fact, of US 70. US 70 is, let me get a different arrow line here. US 70 is right here where I drew this line. That's US 70, again, coming from the Goldsboro bypass, heading into Johnston County. That's 70. This is southeast of Princeton. So we're between Princeton and Goldsboro here in Wayne County, where the rotation is. And again, this is moving northeastward. This should miss Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. That's on the south side of Goldsboro. This should also miss downtown Goldsboro proper because this is moving northeast. But this will be heading very close here to Stony Creek. So let me go ahead and reset it for us. Let me zoom out just a nudge, and I'm going to put a storm track on this. Because again, this is moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So this is heading towards, again, Stony Creek. You're very close to this, about 343. You're about 20 minutes away. Pat Town at 346, Edmondson Crossroads at 350, then Eureka at 354, which gets us close then to the Duplin County line, the Duplin-Wilson County line. And then that would become a National Weather Service, Morehead City, I believe, concern. And again, that moves out of our concern here in central North Carolina. So we still have 2 areas of rotation we're watching. There is also still a 3rd area of rotation. It's not quite as pronounced as the other 2, but again, today, anything that even shows a little hint of rotating, we need to keep an eye on, even though this is not actually included in the warning. That is right here near Kenly and Lacama and towards this is the Wayne Johnson Wilson County line. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. Right now, this is not warned, but it is an area of rotation that we may need to keep our eyes on if the Weather Service decides to go ahead and issue a warning on this. Again, it's rotating. If we go back to our regular radar mode, it's kind of embedded in a line segment there, so it may be more of a signature of some gusty winds than rotation specifically, but it is something that we want to keep our eyes on with this. So let me go ahead and zoom us all back out. Let's kind of reset for those of you who may be just joining us. If you're wondering what's happening where you are as we've been focused on these two warnings here. I'm going to go ahead and put this into motion. This is over the last hour. So, again, we are watching... and then they've just issued a new warning here. So as I do that, let me go ahead and read this off. So we do now have a new tornado warning. This is for Johnston, Sampson, and Wayne counties. This also goes until 4 o'clock. This is for the storm that's heading towards Steve Sprazian now, towards Hopton and Sampson County. So they've extended this warning into a wider warning. So we have 3 warnings that in essence are encompassing the exact same places now. This is moving northeast at 40. It's located 11 miles north of Clinton. So that's the storm we've been talking about heading towards Hopton. And I believe that is the Weatherby's picture on the right-hand side, and that's the storm that's approaching. So this has produced a larger warning that encompasses more of Johnston County and the far western portions of Wayne County that goes until 4. So in essence, now we have 3 warnings. 2 go until 4. 1 goes until 3:30. Really, we'll just say they go to 4 because the warnings are overlapping each other as these storms are moving off to the north and east. There is also just off to our south another tornado warning, and I'm only going to pan down here for a second because I want to just bring our attention to it. There are multiple tornado warnings to our south. These are moving northward, and so these could be impacting the exact same areas I've been talking about as we head over the next couple of hours. Again, we mentioned along and east of I-95 was the greatest concern. These storms are now starting to develop into portions of South Carolina and far southern North Carolina, and then heading in our direction. So as of now, so far today is playing out kind of exactly as we expected, unfortunately, with the areas of greatest concern along and east of I-95. So let's recenter on us. I just want you to be aware that we have more storms coming our way, so we are definitely not done with today yet. Again, the heaviest rain is in the northeastern part of our area into portions of Halifax and Northampton County, but that is not severe. What is severe is down into Johnston, Wayne, and Sampson counties, where we have our active tornado warnings. Again, we kind of have multiple warnings now that are overlapping each other. And actually, it looks like the Weather Service has gone ahead and trimmed it down to 2 because we have now hit 3:30. So we have 2 warnings now, which makes it a little easier to juggle for everybody, because I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for us to follow. We have Sampson County until 4 o'clock, eastern Johnston County, western Wayne County, and most of north central Wayne County until 4 o'clock. So the warnings all go till 4. We're covering kind of multiple areas for this line of storms that's moving north and eastward. So we're going to start on the northern end of the line. We'll go ahead and bring radar up to date here. So we're going to start with the northern part of the line, and then we'll kind of go southward, and we'll kind of check each area out here so we can provide information for everybody who's kind of in the path of these. So here's our northern storm that has produced the warning. This is, again, mainly south of Kenly. Again, this rotation has kind of been riding right along the county line between Johnston and Wayne County. If you notice now, our rotation just to the west of 581 and just south, looks like, of NC 222 is not as intense as it was earlier. You see the green, you see the red, but if you notice right down the middle, you see that gray color. That's indicating that the rotation is very broad. We want to see the red and green close to each other. If they're not close to each other, then that means that the rotation is extremely broad. So the rotation is here, but it's very broad. There's also another area of rotation, the northern one that I've been talking about as well, and the Weather Service has noted a few times. It's right over top of Lacama, heading towards I-795 and US 301 kind of junction point there in far into portions of Wilson County, just south of Wilson, kind of where 791, almost where 791 rejoins with US 264, just east of I-95. So right over top of Lacama right now in US 301 sees a broad area of rotation. Again, it's there. It's currently not warm, but I just want you to be aware of those in Wilson County. I'm keeping my eye on it. So let me go ahead and put a storm track on the southern section here. Again, the rotation is broad, but it is there, and this is moving to the northeast at 35. So again, eventually this will make a run towards Wilson County. So we'll see if they extend that warning further downstream. Right now, Wilson, you are not included in the warning. That's heading towards Blacks Creek at about 350, and then heading into Stansburg about 349. And actually, we don't have to worry. The Weather Service, maybe they heard me talking. They noted the broad rotation here, and they've actually now canceled that warning. So the storm that I'm focused on, they have now canceled that warning. I know a lot's happening, so let me try and reset for everybody. So the northern Wayne County warning has been canceled by the National Weather Service for the rotation that I've just been showing you. That one has been canceled, which means right now, I'm going to zoom out and reset for everybody. We have 1 active tornado warning across central North Carolina. Carolina, which includes Sampson County, Wayne County, and Johnston County until 4 o'clock. It's for the storm that's right about on top of Hobson, the one that we've been talking about, where currently the CBS 17 weather beast is located. It is for this portion of the storm right here that's about to cross I-40. In fact, it looks like it's right on top of Hobson. So yeah, thank you. We can put the weather beast up beside me because they're about right on top of him. Let me check it rotation here, and the rotation is there. It is broad. Steve, can you hear me? Are you seeing any signs of rotation? Because you're right over top of it. Go ahead, Steve.
Sorry about that. We're just trying to get the camera back to where you were pointing. We're going to put that camera east right down 70 in just a moment. We were looking at, photographer Tom Swift and I were looking at something coming out of the clouds. It looked a little bit suspicious. I'll see if I can get it back again, Brian, and I do apologize. Okay, there we are. We're looking now down 70 eastbound towards Interstate 40, and now we just see a solid mass of clouds. Let me pan that camera around a little bit more, and there is what we were looking at earlier. That's the bottom of that. Let me pull it out a little bit. You get a better view. That's the bottom of it, and if you're looking at some of that stuff that was at the bottom, that it looked like it was rotating at one point. If you look towards the far right of your screen at about the 3 o'clock position. Let me move in on that a little bit.
Steve, head back left. Pan the camera back left. That's not the portion we want. Go back left. Back left, where it gets darker.
Left?
And drops down. Yeah, down there. That towards that section is where you're going to want to watch. I can't tell. You have better eyes than I do since you're close on it. Yeah. Does it look like that portion of the cloud is lower than the rest?
Yeah, very much so. And let me, I can actually open the door and step out and kind of stand on the running board and get a better view. Yeah, that whole little area that we were looking at, that is making me a little bit on the nervous side.
Yeah,
let me pull that shot out a little bit.
If there's a funnel or a wall, there might be a wall. It's tough to tell because there are some trees blocking, but it looks like that might be a little bit of a wall cloud.
You can...
Does it look like it's rotating?
You can sort of see that V shape, if you will, from our perspective. That's what Tom and I were looking at, and we were getting concerned about that. You can see now there's also what appears to be rain dropping out of the sky right in that same area. And as you indicated, if this is going to be a tornado, it's going to be a tornado you're not going to be able to see. It's going to be rain wrapped. This is what we're looking at right here. And let me see if I can get in a little bit closer without losing focus.
Yeah. Does it look like that portion of the cloud is rotating, Steve? Because I can't tell from what you...
Yes, it does, especially the camera may not be able to show, but this whole area here was what we were concerned about. We're looking pretty much east-southeast there, and that would be probably towards 40, I would think, maybe up towards Newton Grove in that area from where we're at, direction-wise. But that definitely does not... That's not a good looking, that's not a good look for a cloud, especially in these kind of situations.
No, definitely not. And in fact, I'm passing along that report to the Weather Service now because the rotation looks very good on radar from what I can see. Obviously, I'm not where you are. And if it looks like it's rotating, which, again, it's tough to see from me looking at what you're seeing, but there is lowering there. And if there's any hint that that's rotating, that's most likely a wall cloud, if not a possible tornado under it. And as you mentioned, I can tell it looks like it's rain wrapped from what you're showing me. And so that is definitely of concern. So, again,
I'm going to try and go in a little bit. Leave that tree line behind us a little bit, but get in there, get in as tight as I can. Unfortunately, you lose some of the resolution with this camera, and when it actually, you can see the bouncing from just the engine running. So let me pull out a little bit more. But that is the area of concern. That's what we're most worried about. You're seeing it on radar. We're seeing it on the ground, and as I stand outside on the running board again, and I look with my eyes, I can definitely see what appears to be rotation. And I don't know, the resolution on the camera is not good enough to really show you that. This is, you know, it's the best that we have, but it's not the kind of high-def camera that we would normally be shooting with if we were shooting a news story. Let me pull out a little bit more, Brian, if that helps you at all, to get a little bit better look at that. You can see
a little bit, actually.
You can see what you've got here.
Yeah, so if you look, that is definitely a lowering. Steve, you were correct with that. It looks like Again, from me looking at what you're seeing, I can't make out rotation, but there's definitely lowering of the cloud there. That is most likely, from what I can tell, a wall cloud, which is the precursor to a tornado. And obviously trees are blocking the lowest part, so there may even be a tornado under there that we can't see or is possibly rain wrapped. That looks like that might actually be a wall cloud, especially if you're seeing that it's rotating. That is most likely a wall cloud.
I'm trying to catch the rotation. If you can sort of see, I don't know how much definition you have on it. See, there's a lighter gray area against the darker gray, and that is what's moving. That seems to be what's rotating.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yes.
I'll try and get.
Yeah, that's
see
like
that little area right there, and
that is like if
I get in too close, you lose all the.
Yeah, if it's not, in fact, if it's not
the definition, unfortunately, if I get in.
Yeah, and in fact, the rotation there is in fact looks even better on radar with the new update that's come in. So, what direction exactly are you looking? Are you looking north towards I-40?
Yeah, if you're looking now, that's 701 right there. And if you were looking to the left of the screen, 701 would be going back towards 40. Yes.
Okay.
So we're looking, and that's pretty much. That would be pretty much east, so I'm guessing the clouds are a little bit southeast of us right now, what you're looking at.
Yeah, so you're actually now on the back side of the storm is what you're looking north into the back side of the storm.
Yeah.
So, in fact, the radar just gave us an update in. So the circulation center right over top of US 13 and right on the Sampson, Wayne County line. And in fact, it looks extremely impressive from what I can see. So if you're seeing rotation from where you are, most likely that thing is rotating. Yeah, so that looks like
I just hope that it has not. I hope it hasn't dropped out of the sky, and I certainly hope if it has that there's nobody in the path of it right now. That would be. I'm giving you a wider view right now, just because I think it helps with your perspective, so that you can figure out a little bit more of what you're seeing. Let me just pan to the right just a little bit, and you can see that we're way off to this side here. The clouds are breaking. You have you have actually scud and so forth, but these clouds are moving, if you will, from screen right to screen left. And then if you go back to what we were looking at right there, right in the center of your screen, those clouds were moving screen left to screen right. So there's an indication you've got left to right and right to left. There's your rotation right there.
Yeah, you're seeing the entire broad rotation.
There's
Steve, you guys are clear from where you are. You guys hit 701 north towards I-40 and then connect on to 13, stay on 701 north and hit 13 eastbound towards Grantham. That's where the circulation is now, and likely if there's any damage, it's going to be somewhere along that path. So go ahead and chase with the beast and go ahead and find it. So 701 north to US 13 eastbound is where you guys want to head into Wayne County. If there's any damage, you'll likely find it along the way.
And that would be CWC, chase with caution.
Yes, yes. And you guys are actually in a good spot to chase. You're behind the storm. That's a good spot to be. You don't want to be ahead of it. So, yeah, so we're going to get the Chevy Beast on the road heading towards where we're seeing the rotation here now. I have a new storm track up on this. Again, this warning goes until 4. And right now, based on the rotation here, I wouldn't be surprised if we're kind of dealing with the storm a little longer. So this is going to hug very close to Johnston-Wilson County line. Now, those of you, again, in Four Oaks and Smithfield and Selma, in fact, will likely be just to the west of this. We'll keep an eye on if the storm deviates in motion at all. But this, again, is crossing down the far southwestern portions of Wayne County and moving into southeastern portions of Johnston County. So we will likely see the Sampson County warning here drop very shortly. Let me see if we have any signs of debris, and we do not. Normally, we look for a lowering from those purples and reds down to like a bluish color. That would indicate that there is a possible tornado. That's a debris ball, and the radar can't detect that. Something that doesn't look like that it's a raindrop, which is what the radar is trying to differentiate between. And so on our debris tracker, I don't see any signs that at least it's being lofted high enough for the radar to see it. That's the key. The radar has to be able to see it. And so if it's not high enough for it, then again, that product doesn't help us out. So let me zoom in a little closer here. because again, this is this is northeast of Newton Grove, as Steve mentioned. He was looking in this direction, so he was looking on the back side of this storm, basically on this back section right here is where we are concerned with. So, and in fact, a new lightning strike that just popped up is a little concerning, because that means usually when you start seeing an increase in lightning, that means that the storm is intensifying. So we don't want to see lightning all of a sudden starting to fire up, because that means the storm is intensifying. It's usually a telltale sign. So this is right on that white line you see running across the map. That's US 13. So just east of Newton Grove, west of Grantham, south of Bentonville and Johnson County is right where the most concerning part of the storm is located. And again, this is moving northeast at 50. I'm going to show you the velocity image again. And again, this looks extremely impressive. You have these reds and the pink, yellow, greenish that are beside each other. That is strong rotation that's being picked up by the radar. Steve mentioned that he could see rotation from the ground looking into the backside of this. And so this is definitely rotating. The question is something on the ground? Right now, I have no reports in from the Weather Service. And again, the Weather Beast is a little too far away to be able to see the ground, but they are heading to intercept here to see if maybe there is something on the ground. But this is definitely rotating. And so I need those of you who are in western portions of Wayne County, eastern portions of Johnston County, and now the far northern tip of Sampson County here, just northeast of Newton Grove, to be in your safe place with this, as this is definitely a very dangerous storm at the moment. Again, if it's not producing a tornado, it's likely very, very close to doing it. So definitely make sure you're in your safe place. That includes those of you in Bentonville. As I mentioned, this is heading right towards you, may pass just to the east of proper Bentonville proper, but this is heading right in your direction here. So let me go ahead and zoom out. Again, I want to be able to reset for everybody. For those of you, again, who may be wondering what exactly is happening where you are, if you're not underneath this tornado warning. Right now in our area, there's only one active tornado warning, which is the Sampson, Johnston, Wayne County warning until 4 o'clock. Again, we'll see how this storm looks in the next 15 minutes. That will determine what happens with this. The Weather Service will likely provide an update here any minute to trim Sampson County out of this warning. That will likely happen any minute now, as the storm is almost completely into Wayne County and into Johnston County. So that will likely see a trim coming shortly. On top of that, we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin, Johnston, and Wake counties until 4:15. This is for a wind of 60 miles per hour for a storm that is to the west of the tornado warning. So we now have a severe thunderstorm warning with our tornado warning. And if you notice to our south, which is actually what I was in the process of doing before the Weather Service fired off that warning there that I wanted to update you about, we have an additional tornado warning that is down into Bladen County, moving northward, potentially again towards Sampson County, if rotation there holds. That's a while away. Now that one goes until 4. That's to our south, but we'll keep an eye on. Again, these storms are going to be moving from south to north for a while, so that's something that we'll continue to keep our eyes on. I'm going to go ahead here and let me clear this off and put this into motion, so you can kind of see what's been happening over the last hour or so. If you notice, we've seen a lot, we have seen rain showers really taper off now. But again, we've seen a lot of rain already today. Hopefully that helps stabilize locations along and west of US 1. We'll have to see if that holds true as we continue through the rest of the evening. The main severe threat has been where the enhanced risk has been today. So the Storm Prediction Center doing a fantastic job with their forecast, with our active weather being in the enhanced risk areas. And also we have a severe thunderstorm warning for wind for the storm on the northwest of our tornado warning in Johnston County. That will clip eastern portions of Wake County, including Knightdale, Wendell, Zebulon, and just east of Wake Forest, heading up towards Lewisburg and Franklin County. But again, that is severe thunderstorm. It is not tagged tornado possible, which means there is no rotation with the storm. It's just producing damaging winds. And from the video we've seen from Steve Sprasia in the CBS 17 Weather Beast, again, the winds are howling out there. Just above the surface, winds are easily 50, 60, 70 miles per hour, which means if a thunderstorm gets anywhere somewhat strong, it can grab those winds and force it to the ground. That's why wind is our primary threat today. I also want to keep you updated because I haven't talked about this a lot, but it has been posted as of about 2:20 today. There is a tornado watch also in effect for everybody east and south of Raleigh. So this is Wake County, Franklin County, Warren County, Halifax County, Nash County, Edgecombe County, Wilson County, Johnston County, Wayne County, Sampson County, Harnett County, Cumberland County, and Hope counties. You're under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock this evening. And again, we've seen multiple tornado warnings already so far today, and we will likely see a couple more, unfortunately, before the day is done. As I mentioned, this is the Storm Prediction Center newest outlook. Enhanced risk really hasn't moved much from what we showed you yesterday and this morning. The Storm Prediction Center doing an excellent job, as most of the active weather has been confined to the enhanced risk area, but all of us are under a slight risk until through this evening. So we at least have a slight risk. You're level 2 out of 5. The orange is enhanced. That is a level 3 out of 5. So again, only one currently active tornado warning in our area, so we're going to focus back in on that. I just want to keep everybody updated on what's happening, whether you're under this warning or not, wondering, kind of what's going on where you are. And so this is the storm that we are concerned with. I'm going to get a little closer with this. That is now, it looks like it's just about exiting Wayne County. It is exiting Wayne County into as far southeastern portions of Johnston County. This is where the rotation is here. So again, this tornado warning goes until 4. It includes Johnston and Wayne. Sampson, you're still included, but the storm is gone from you. And if we get an update from the Weather Service, it will clear Sampson County. So I'm not concerned about Sampson County at the moment because, again, right now the threat is in the Johnston County. It's exiting out of Wayne County. But if this holds together, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. I'm going to give you a storm track. This is heading eventually towards the US 70 corridor, up towards the Princeton community, and eventually, potentially, up towards Kenly by the time we get to expiration time. So this storm has been moving northeast at about 40. And as I mentioned, the updates in from the Weather Service, which has cleared Sampson County. Thank you, National Weather Service Raleigh. So here's a new update for us. So again, the warning is still until 4. It is still radar indicated at this point. And there have been no damage reports that have come in so far. That could be good news because this looks very dangerous on radar. So if this hasn't touched down, that is very good news for us. So those of you who are in the path, again, as I mentioned, Princeton would take you to about expiration time if it continues on speed and track. And then north of that, again, would be outside of warning time. We'll have to see if they reissue down the road for Wilson County. The good news is the storms so far today have been crossing through mainly rural portions of central North Carolina. So we've avoided major population centers so far, which may be part of the reason we don't have a lot of damage reports in. But again, that's good news. If we're going to have a tornado, we want it to be where nobody is. So that's been good news so far. But again, this area of rotation is moving through eastern Johnston County. We'll be crossing the US 70 corridor here as we get closer to 4 o'clock. So in about 8 to 10 minutes or so, we'll likely be at US 70 in Johnston County, again, east of I-95. So those of you closer towards Four Oaks and Smithfield, this is east of you. But this is heading towards the 70 corridor right near the Princeton area on US 70 in Johnston County. Right before you get the exit to 70 business heading off towards Smithfield, and you keep the 70 kind of bypass that goes around. Right towards that section is where this rotation is kind of progged across. Again, if it maintains speed and intensity and track over the next 8 to 10 minutes. As of now, again, this is the current only active tornado warning here. Let's go ahead and check our debris tracker and let's see if we are seeing any signs of debris being lofted. And again, so far we're not, and that's good news because we're pretty close to the radar at this point. So if it's lofting something, it doesn't have to be high for us to be able to see it. And as of now, it's not lofting anything. You see all this purple, just almost Christmas tree looking display. We look for areas, basically circles of the bluish colors. That indicates that debris is being lofted, and right now I don't see that. So that is a good sign. Rotation is still extremely strong. That hasn't changed much over the last about 5 to 10 minutes or so. That's where our rotation is located about. Again, this is west-northwest of Grantham in Wayne County. Grantham, you're not of concern here. Hobson, again, you're in the clear now. Sampson County, you're in the clear. This is northwest of Grantham, heading towards Princeton and eastern portions of Johnston County. Even though western Wayne, you are included in this warning, if it continues on this track, this should remain completely into Johnston County. Again, but that assumes that track and speed hold as we head over the next few minutes. On the right-hand side of your screen there, you're looking at the CBS 17 Weather Beast. This is heading towards the Grantham area. It was in Sampson County. It's now heading into portions of Wayne County and potentially may wind up towards Johnston County as we see what this new area of what this area of rotation is going to do. But again, this is our only active tornado warning right now, and it goes until 4 o'clock. Storm structure is still there, and in fact, I'm going to highlight this. This isn't tornadic, but you see this that little yellow area right there. That is inflow coming into the storm. And Stephen mentioned seeing a lot of scud, a lot of low-level clouds. And what's happening is because our atmosphere is so humid for December. I mean, some of us have hit 70 today, and it's Christmas Eve, so it's very warm and humid outside. As this air is rushing into the thunderstorm, as it's pulling it in from the south and east, what it's doing is, as it begins lifting, because it's so humid, it hits what we call the lifted condensation level, where clouds form, your cloud base, and it's instantly condensing as it begins moving into the thunderstorm. And now, normally, that can be a good thing. That can cause some weakening within a storm if it ingests too much really saturated air. We'll have to see how this holds out over the next couple minutes as radar updates come in. But we do have our classic kind of hook shape here. If you notice, there's kind of an appendage on the southern side. Let me highlight that here. So if there is a tornado, it's going to be on the southern side there where I've kind of encircled with these arrows. That's what we are concerned with. That's where the rotation is, and the rotation is still there. Again, everything else really hasn't hinted that this is on the ground. The Weather Service has no reports. We don't have any damage reports that have come in yet that we can confirm that it's on the ground, but everything hints that it's at least rotating. Whether it's produced a tornado or not is the question, but we are going to treat it like it has, because everything that I'm seeing and what Steve has been seeing while he's had eyes on it indicates that this likely is trying to or has dropped something down onto the ground. So again, those of you in eastern Johnson County, Smithfield, you're not in the warning. Four Oaks, you're not in the warning. Benson, you're not in the warning. Selma, you're technically kind of clipped in this, but this should be well east of you. Again, this is moving very fast as well. This is moving northeast at 45. And so by the time the radar updates here, which should be about any second, we're going to see, in fact, there it is, as I mentioned. Again, it's closing in on the Princeton community. So those of you in Princeton, you want to go ahead and get into your safe place with this. As again, this is approaching the US 70 corridor. This line right here, if I can get this to draw, come on. Let me just circle it. This line up here, I don't know why my arrows doesn't want to work with me. This is US 7. There we go. This is US 70 right here. This splits into 70 business in the Smith and 70 bypass, and then 70 business towards Smithfield. So right where 70 splits towards the bypass around Smithfield and then into Smithfield, that's where the storm is heading. And as you recall, I was just talking about, I want to point this out on radar here. I was just talking about how we're seeing kind of look like the air was already starting to condense as it headed into the storm. That now looks like it's happening even more so here on this image. And so we'll pull up velocity data, and it's still rotating. The storm is still spinning here. So right now that hasn't caused any weakening concern, and this is beelining right for Princeton. This is going to be, if not right over Princeton proper, a very close hit on the western side. So you guys need to go ahead and get into your safe place with this. We now have a new tornado warning also in. Let me reset for everybody. I'll catch you up on what has just been issued from the National Weather Service. So we have a new tornado warning now for wrong button. We have a new tornado warning now that is in effect for Cumberland and Sampson counties. This goes until 4:30. Right now, the storm is also radar indicated. It's the storm that's moving out of Bladen County. Again, they're following the exact same track and moving northeast, where this is moving a little faster northeast at 55. And again, so far, this is radar indicated as well. So both of our tornado warnings are radar indicated. This storm is located near Ammon, about 13 miles northeast of Elizabethtown, and it's moving northeast at 55. So let's give a storm track down here for our new warning that's in. Again, this right now is still currently into Bladen County, but it will be moving into Sampson County. And again, far southeastern Cumberland County, you are included in this warning. This does not, though, include Fayetteville. This does not include Fort Bragg. Your phone or your weather radio may be going off saying tornado warning Cumberland County. But this is, again, the far southeastern portion of the county. What was it, 210 and 242, I believe, intersect down there. That is the section of the county that we are concerned with. So, again, there is still weak rotation down here. Now, again, we are a ways away from the radar, so I'll take with a grain of salt that there is some weakening, that there is some weak rotation here. And again, this is moving northeast at 55. So this will likely, if again it continues on its track, make the closest call to Clinton that we've seen so far today. Clinton, you've kind of been spared so far. Hopefully that trend continues. But this will be near Parkersburg just at the top of the hour. McDaniels at 4:04, heading towards Piney Ridge at 4:12. Clinton at 4:15. Again, if this holds together. Kitty Fork at 4:18, and then towards Red Hill at 4:24, which will put it at Hobson close to, again, about 4:26, 4:30. Hopton, again, the same area we've been talking about. So a new rotation that's just about to move into south central Sampson County, a little east of where the previous couple of rotations have been, but still following the exact same track of moving off to the north and east. So the exact same areas we have been concerned with continue to remain under the gun for us this evening. We're now approaching 4 o'clock. The CBS 17 weather beast on the right-hand side there is heading in the portions of Wayne County. You can see the gusty winds that are with this. It's windy outside of thunderstorms, whether you are in a thunderstorm or not. We have 2 active tornado warnings, Johnston and Wayne County. That's the northern warning that expires here in about 2 minutes, about 2.5 minutes. So we'll see if the Weather Service continues this one downstream into Wilson County or not. And then the southern warning that has just been issued goes until 4:30, and that includes far southeastern Cumberland County and most of central portions of Sampson County. Again, that is until 4:30. So there are 2 active warnings here. I'm going to dive back into, we'll start with the southern one and work north, because by the time I get to the north one, it may actually have expired its warning. So we'll start down here. So again, the area we are concerned with is not quite yet into Sampson County. It is still into parts of Bladen County here. It is this portion right here where you see some of those reds, a little bit of red and green. That's what we are concerned with here in Sampson County, in Bladen County, heading towards Sampson County. It's about to cross the line, the black squiggly line you see there, that is the Sampson County line. Again, that's heading northward towards McDaniels. It will be just east of Roseboro, similar to what we saw earlier. The Weather Service is going to continue the tornado warning for our northern storm, so let me go ahead and reset that one. I figured that they would, because at this point there isn't a reason not to. And so this new tornado warning, this goes until 4:30. So we're about to have two 4:30 expiration time warnings for Edgecombe, Johnston, Nash, Wayne, and Wilson counties. As of now, this is still radar indicated. This is moving, it's picked up a little bit now northeast at 50 miles per hour. So we have currently 3 active tornado warnings. It's about to be 2, because the middle warning is about to expire. The northern warning will take over at 4 o'clock. So let me go ahead and zoom in here, and we'll focus again. This is the storm we've been talking about. This was the storm that Steve Strazier was on in the Sampson County, and we're moving behind it into Wayne County, and now this is moving, will be moving eventually into Wilson, Edgecombe, and Nash counties if it holds together. The actual storm is this southern one down here. That's where the actual storm is located. It's 12 miles, about 12 miles east of Smithfield. So again, right over about on top of Princeton. So it's actually at the southern part of the warning here. And again, this is moving northeast at 55. So they have continued this. So Princeton, again, it's about to be on top of you if it's not already, because again, we'll get a radar update here any second. Rains Crossroads, you're next, which again, here in just a minute or two, and then towards Kenley, Lacama, Wiggins Mill, and then Wilson, again, if this holds together. So this is about to cross towards some of more populated roadways. 264 is now included in this warning. Heading towards the southern part of 64, when the warning towards the expiration of the warning up towards Rocky Mount. So 264, that will be coming up here shortly. This will make a run almost to about where 264 and 795 are conjoined for about, what is that, 3-mile stretch or so east of I-95, heading towards there. So this will be a close call to Wilson proper. Kenley, you're going to be close to this as well. And again, this is right on top of Princeton at the moment. So we now have, again, 2 active tornado warnings. Both are until 4:30 for 2 different storms. This northern storm here, again, this is until 4:30 for Johnston, Nash, Wayne, and Wilson counties. For the storm that we have been watching now for probably about close to an hour or so. So again, here's that circulation. It's just south of Princeton. We're going to get a radar update in any second. It's likely going to be now north of 70. So again, that white line underneath Princeton, that is US 70. This will be heading northward towards 264 eventually. After it crosses near NC 581. So those of you along the 795 corridor, the I-95 corridor north of Selma, you're kind of in between those two is where this is heading at this point. So we also have the severe thunderstorm warning that's on the left-hand side of your screen. That is for wind for Franklin, Johnson, and Wake until 4:15. That's for the eastern part of Wake County. So those of you in Zebulon, Wendell, Knightdale, heading up towards Lewisburg and Franklinton, it's going to be gusty winds there. So there's our radar update in. As I mentioned, let me go ahead and redraw where our circulation is. Notice this circulation has not really weakened at all over the last probably about half hour or so. This has kind of remained firmly entrenched kind of where it is. So here's where our circulation is now. Again, this is quickly moving northeastward. So those of you in Kenley need to be in your safe place. Princeton, I'm going to give you another minute or two. Let's get a little further from you. And those of you in Lacama, you need to be thinking about heading there. Those of you in Wilson need to be paying attention to this, because this may make a very close call to the city of Wilson proper as this crosses through kind of west central portions of Wilson County. So our circulation is still there. Again, you still notice that we have our green and reds together. The green arrows, again, are heading towards the radar site. You can see it spinning there near Clayton. The red is heading away from the radar site. And so where those two come together, we have our circulation here that is just north of Princeton in eastern Johnston County, just west of the Wayne-Johnston County border, heading towards Wilson County. So again, this is moving northeast at 55. This is our first tornado warning of concern. Our second one is further south, that is moving into Sampson County. So I'm going to go ahead and shift our focus back south for this one. It actually looks like we may have 2 storms we need to keep an eye on here in Sampson County. The warning is only for the southern one, so let me kind of center this. So the southern one is actually, Bladen County has been canceled by the National Weather Service, Wilmington. So this is near Garland, this area of circulation that's sitting here. There looks to be a couple of areas of possible rotation a little further north, but they're not quite as well defined as what we're seeing in Johnston County and what's coming out of Bladen County into Sampson County. Again, this one is also moving off to the northeast. This one is moving northeast at 55. So let me go ahead and storm track from where this is. Again, this is going to make the closest call to Clinton so far today. We've seen, again, this is about a third or fourth tornado warning for Sampson County. Butler's Crossroads, you'll be under the gun here in about 10 minutes. Clinton, you're under 20 minutes away now from where the circulation. McCullen in almost a half hour, and then Hobson in a half hour, which again has been under the gun. And 4:30 again is the expiration time. So we have at least another 30 minutes to get with this. So I think this is a good chance, since we had a couple of warnings now refiring. Let me go ahead and reset again for everybody. Keep everybody updated on what's been happening so far, kind of where we are. We have multiple warnings in effect. There are 2 active tornado warnings. The Sampson far southeastern Cumberland County warning until 4:30, and then the Johnston, Wayne, Wilson, Edgecombe, and Nash County warning that also goes until 4:30. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning that includes Johnston, Wake, and Franklin counties. That goes until 4:15, I believe. That is a wind threat, not a tornado threat. The other 2 are the tornado threats, which again align where our greatest concern has been expected today along and east of I-95. These storms all have developed from storms that have been actually riding north to south from south of us, where there have been active tornado warnings. The good news is at this point, south of us, there are currently no further active tornado warnings. That doesn't mean more won't develop, but what we're seeing now is kind of our main actions. As we mentioned, this afternoon into this evening is our prime time of seeing severe weather. And so far, we've seen about 4 or 5 tornado warnings already so far today, and a severe thunderstorm warning as these storms have moved off to the north and east. If you notice back off to our west, there's right now only rain back towards the Triad into the mountains. That's tied to our cold front. They'll be arriving as we get towards dinner time. If storms can redevelop along it, that will have our damaging wind threat. We'll have to watch that, though, carefully, because it's been so wet today that we might not have the environment to be able to redevelop thunderstorms as the cold front arrives. I don't think any of us will complain if that happens, but that's something we have to watch for as we continue into the back part of the day. For now, though, the concern are thunderstorms that are forming to our south down towards Myrtle Beach and Wilmington, and as they move northward, they have shown the ability to rotate, to tap into our environment, and to at least have the capability of producing a tornado, whether they do or not. Again, so far we have had no confirmation of tornadoes. We've had an unconfirmed report of a funnel cloud in Sampson County, and we have a wall cloud, at least confirmed from us, from the CBS 17 Weather Beast into Sampson and Wayne counties from earlier. But as of now, that's the only confirmed reports I have that I can pass along. That's good news. Power outages, we checked a little earlier, we're about 300 or so in Sampson County. So again, these storms have not been overly destructive at this point, and hopefully we keep it that way. That these storms, even though they're rotating, don't do anything except rotate and don't drop a tornado. That's our best case scenario as we continue through the rest of the afternoon. But this is phase 1. Again, off to our west, back towards Greensboro. That's rain with the cold front, which right now is not showing signs of producing thunderstorms, and we hope that continues as we head through the evening. But these storms are out of the head of the line. We've talked about these discrete thunderstorms, these supercell thunderstorms that have the ability to rotate. They've been rotating, and again, we'll have to get confirmation they've produced a tornado, but they are at least capable of producing a tornado. So we want to keep that in mind, and again, make sure we are staying weather aware as we continue through the rest of our Christmas Eve. Unfortunately, our Christmas Eve that is seeing severe weather. So let's start with the northern. We'll start north and work south again. Kind of the trend we've kind of been doing, especially because the northern storm has been the one that has looked more impressive at this point. And so I want to keep with the one that perhaps is the greater risk, and make sure I'm keeping you guys updated on what's happening with it and keeping you up ahead of it. So we still have that tight rotation, though, indicated here on radar. We should get a new sweep in any second now. And we actually have an update to our southern tornado warning, so we'll check that as we dive south in a second. But again, here's our rotation. Because this is now pushing about a minute and a half over, the rotation is probably closer to Kenley at this point. Because again, we should get a new radar sweep in any second now. So I'm going to storm track from. It looks like actually this looks like that might be the. Yep, there it is. In fact, I drew exactly where it was. So let me clear it, and I'll draw it correctly since we actually do have it plotted. So again, and in fact, I'm a little concerned about this rotation now because it's tightened up a little bit. So let me zoom in just a little closer on this. So this is right towards Watson Crossroads. This is east of 95, south of 301. that we're talking about here. So again, is this area right here? This has tightened up significantly from the last time we checked in on this. Again, this is the new update in with the old update that I just showed you. So if we look at it from a velocity standpoint, from a regular radar standpoint, again, we can see that this does have kind of a classic hook shape here that's trying to develop around the system here. So we're getting at least a hook echo has appeared here. Again, that is a sign of rotation. And so I'm going to plot from where the actual circulation is being plotted by radar. I think it's offset to the north and nudge, but it goes good. So that's where the rotation is. This, again, is about to cross into Wilson County. This black line right here that's east of Kenly, that is the Wilson County line. So this will be just west of Watson Crossroads, heading towards 581 and US 301. And again, if this holds, this will be just west or just west-southwest of Lacama here in western portions of Wilson County. So this, again, this circulation still looks extremely impressive at this point. And I can't stress enough, again, be into your tornado safe place with this if you are in Wilson County. Those of you in Johnson County and near Princeton, I can go ahead and give you an all clear because, again, the storm has moved away from you far enough. Let me try and get the zoom portion here right so I can put the storm track that should grab the whole thing. Nope, I'm actually, this storm is moving so fast, I'm still not far out enough. So let me bump out one more time, and that should let us kind of center this for this warning. That's why this warning is so long, by the way, because this storm is booking. Again, it's moving northeast about 50, where we'll draw it here. So heading towards, again, Watson Crossroads, as I mentioned, you're under the gun now. You need to be in your safe place. Lacama here in about under 10 minutes, about 8 minutes to you. Wiggins Mills at 422. Wilson, again, this may be just to your west at 426. Then Elm City at 433 and Sandy Cross at 438. That starts getting us up into Nash, towards Nash and Edgecombe counties at that point. And again, 438, it takes us past expiration time as well. But still, those of you downstream need to be paying attention to this. So again, we'll be crossing US 264 and I-795 here within the next about 10 to 15 minutes. Again, trying to give you some reference points here. So if you're anywhere in this portion of Wilson County, Watson's Crossroads, Lacama, near US 264, I-795, where they junction together east of I-95, you need to be into your safe place with this. In City of Wilson, especially if you're on the western side, you need to be thinking about heading to your safe place as well, because this is going to make a very close call to the city of Wilson here over the next, again, about 15-20 minutes or so. We also have our southern warning. The Weather Service has updated this one, so let me pass along the update, and then I will also storm track this. This is still radar indicated. It's located 10 miles south of Clinton, moving northeast at 55. So again, this is this red and green area here south of Clinton. In fact, rotation looks a little better than where it was in Bladen County, but again, we are getting closer to the radar. That's why I discounted the weak rotation earlier. This is moving northeast at 55. Again, that's going to be close to the right speed here. Again, they're moving so fast, we have to have it zoomed out to get it. So Butler's Crossroads, again, you're under the gun here in about 4 minutes. Piney Ridge in about 7 minutes. Clinton in 10 minutes, where this is heading for you. So those of you just east of the locations we have been talking about for the last about an hour and a half that we've been on the air with you in Sampson County here, you need to be in your safe place with this one. Again, as this moves northward, I wouldn't be surprised if this radar signature looks a little better because we're getting closer to the radar out of Raleigh, which is still the closest radar at this point, but as I mentioned, we're scanning a little high, and as we get closer, we'll get a better look into the storm. As with all of the other storms so far, if you notice, this also has kind of a hook feature to it. A hook echo, that's what we look for. We look for a hook echo. We look for a rotational couplet. We look for debris. So far, debris has been the one thing we've been missing to kind of confirm tornadoes on the ground. But we've had the rotational couplet and we've had the hook echoes, two of the telltale signs that the storm is at least rotating. So these storms are rotating. But again, so far, no damage, no confirmed damage reports outside of some power outages in the Sampson County. That's all that we've seen so far. The Weather Service hasn't passed anything else along in an unconfirmed funnel cloud report earlier, and also our wall cloud report from the storm that's now heading into Wilson County, but that was about 30-45 minutes ago. So again, these are the two storms that we are concerned with. So those of you in Clinton need to be heading into your safe place. This will kind of parallel the 701 corridor, which has been under the gun for a while here. As this moves again northeastward, this will be near NC 24 as well as it heads into Clinton. US 421 as it heads into Clinton as well. So again, this entire section of Sampson County need you guys to be into your safe place with this, and also those of you in Wilson County. So again, these two active warnings here for these two possible tornadoes that are moving northeastward across central North Carolina as these thunderstorms continue moving into an environment that's at least primed to allow this to happen. We also do have a tornado watch in effect. Again, I want to stress this, that this is not the end for us. The tornado watch that you see on your screen goes until 10 o'clock this evening, which is pretty much everybody east and south of Raleigh. Wake County, you're included. Franklin, Warren, Halifax, Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson, Johnston, Wayne, Clinton, Harnett, Cumberland, and Hope counties, you are under the tornado watch until 10 o'clock. Everybody else is excluded from the watch at this point. And again, so far, this is the area that's been seeing the threats so far today. And this watch was actually issued about 2:24. First tornado warning came down about 2:40. So the Storm Prediction Center has been very on it today. Their forecasts have been solid. All of the active weather has been confined so far to the enhanced risk, although the slight risk, which includes pretty much everybody west of I-95, is where we have our only active severe thunderstorm warning, which does include parts of Wake and Franklin counties. So again, this is, everything kind of unfolding as expected so far today. So again, there are currently 3 active warnings. I'm ignoring the severe thunderstorm warning, not because it's not important, but because the tornadoes obviously take precedence. But there are gusty winds as this storm is sliding and now almost completely into Franklin County. But we have, again, our 2 tornado warnings here, in mainly the storm in Wilson County and the storm that is now moving into Sampson County. The National Weather Service is going to allow the severe thunderstorm warning to expire. That was set to expire at 4:15, so that will be allowed to do so, which means only the tornado warnings will remain active for another 15 minutes across the eastern portions of the area. On the right-hand side, I believe that's the mobile news tracker, Christy, correct? Do we know where that is? Okay, we're finding out. Right, heading to Wilson. Thank you. So that's likely 264. I can't see that. I think it was, yes, 264. I've traveled that a little bit. That looks very familiar. So that's 264 heading towards Wilson. That will be intercepting our northern storm. So we have our mobile news tracker and our CBS 17 weather beast both out on the roads this evening, heading into these storms and providing real-time information what's happening on the ground. Because again, from where I am, the radar can only tell me so much. So again, you can see it is pouring rain out there. And I mentioned we're expecting to see a couple of inches of rain today, potentially across our area, especially those of you who keep seeing the rain here. So again, that's our mobile news tracker. It's on US 264 eastbound towards Wilson. Looks like it's not quite to the 795 portion of the road, but again, I don't have a mile marker indicator, but it's heading towards Wilson on 264. So this is 264 eastbound. Again, even if you're not inside the tornado threat, it is raining heavily. It is windy out there. It's a warm, soupy day. If you stepped outside, minus those of you in the tornado warning, you wouldn't think today is Christmas Eve. Our normal high day is about 51. We've been above that for most of the day today. So a very rare kind of Christmas time occurrence. This is more of a deep south setup than a mid-Atlantic, eastern North Carolina setup for December. So the atmosphere is primed, and so far it's been at least trying to take advantage of the atmosphere. The southern warning has been updated. Cumberland County, you've been dropped again from this tornado warning. So Cumberland County, you are clear. Again, that was only far southeastern parts. This is now Sampson County, only tornado warning until 4:30. This storm is located near Clinton, moving northeast at 55. So I'm going to focus on that one first and then go back north, because this is heading towards this almost on top of the city of Clinton. And so because we're heading towards a little bigger population center, I want to make sure we're on top of this, and then I'll bounce back north towards Wilson. So here's the storm portion that we are concerned with. Again, you can still see there's still a well-defined hook. There are lightning strikes also starting to pop up on the north side of this. Those of you in Clinton are likely hearing thunder or have heard thunder as these lightning strikes have developed recently. Again, that is usually a sign of strengthening. The rotation does not look overly impressive here. It's there, but as I mentioned, we're a ways away from the radar at this point, so I'm not giving too much credence that the rotation doesn't look overly strong because we're so far away. We're scanning way up into the storm, and that's not where the tornado forms. It's at the bottom, closer to the ground. So there is rotation here, and again, this is marching right up 701 towards the city of Clinton. So those of you in the city of Clinton, you guys need to be in your safe place with this. 701, 421, NC 24, NC 403, all of the highways that converge in Clinton. If you're near any of those, near Clinton, or if you have a Clinton address, you need to be in your safe place with this, as the storm is approaching very quickly now from the south. Let me go ahead and bounce out just a little bit so I can put a storm track on, because again, these storms are moving so fast, and kind of have to zoom out to more than a county level to get it, and this isn't even quite fast enough. So here again, your estimated arrival times: Clinton here in the next 5 minutes, McCullen in the next about 15 minutes, Hobton towards 4:37, which is past expiration time if this holds. And again, this rotation's weak, it's there, but as it gets a little further north, we'll kind of see if this continues to strengthen. We also have an update on our northern tornado warning, which I was about to bounce there anyway, so we'll go ahead and do that. Let me recenter the map, and then I'll read off what the Weather Service is updating us with. Again, this is towards where the mobile news tracker is heading. So they're continuing the warning. So far, it is still radar indicated. It is located near Wilson or 20 miles south of Nashville. This is still moving northeast at 50. Again, we still have our kind of solid rotation that's here just west of Lacama. Again, this is moving northeast at 50. So let me storm track this here. And that's almost perfectly 50 miles an hour. So Scotts and Wilson here within the next 10 minutes. Elm City in about 4:34, Sharpsburg at 4:40, and then Rocky Mount 4:46. Again, that's past expiration time. Looks like we're looking at flooding there. That's the CBS 17 Weather Beast in Sampson County. Go ahead, Steve. What are you seeing?
We just stopped to get some gas because we're a little bit concerned that there's going to be no gas as we get into Christmas Eve. And what you're looking at right now is in Newton Grove, look at the amount of water that's fallen from this rainstorm right now. You can see a hydrant is half covered. This is just off the side of the road right now, right by the center of town, right by the Rotary, which is pretty much in the center of your picture right now. But take a look at some of this flash flooding, minor flooding at the moment. It has not crossed the road yet, but there's a lot of water that's fallen from the sky, and some of that, I believe, was due to that storm that we watched pass. If you look right up in the center of your picture right now, you can see the Rotary, the little arrows indicating the Rotary. Let me pull out again once more so you can get a good feel for the amount of rain that's fallen right now. And we're going to be seeing that throughout the evening in addition to all the other stuff. We did hear some thunder. Obviously, you saw some lightning. The major storm that we talked about, this is the area that it passed through. No damage on the ground, and we understand from Skywarn, the ham radio operators who are doing that, they have no reports of damage either. But we are seeing some significant rain falling right now. I mean, take a look at that. That's going in is always a little bit hard on this camera. It's much easier to pull out. That's a lot of water right now, Brian, and we're going to continue to see that falling. If you look at the front of the Chevy Weather Beast, it's fallen pretty good there too. But there's a lot of water falling from the sky right now. So in addition to everything else, we have to worry about this. On sections of the highway, you'll have some ponding effects, low areas of the highway, perhaps areas that are near. As we were driving to Newton Grove on State Highway 13, we saw water on the side of the road in wetlands, and the water was almost pretty much up to the side of the road at that point. So it wouldn't take much more for that water to overspill. A lot of rain out there right now, and that water has to go somewhere, and where it's going is it's collecting in low-lying areas, creating some problems for drivers and anybody who lives in a low-lying area right now, Brian.
Yeah, in fact, I just pulled up radar estimated rainfall for you, Steve, about 3.7 inches where you are. So that makes sense by you're seeing the flooding. You are almost 4 inches so far. So that would do it. And
that would be in a what period of time? Like in an hour's time, in 2 hours time?
That's total rainfall. So basically, in essence, that's the radar estimate since midnight, in essence. So since these storms have been moving overhead. So in the last, about 3 hours, maybe about 4 inches?
So we've got, yeah, and it certainly looks like that from what we can see right now. That's all water that you're looking at. On the other side of that road, you can see the wind is just kind of whipping along the surface a little bit. But there's an awful lot of water right now falling from the sky. And it's getting close to the top of that road. That just goes on and on and on. As we continue to pan around, there's more water there. I'll see if I can get a little bit tighter. I don't know, there's something that's submerged in the water there. Not quite sure what that is, but there's a lot of water around it. We've got water everywhere, and that's always obviously in addition to everything else that we're seeing right now with all of the severe weather. When you say we have severe weather, buddy, We've got severe weather.
Hey, Steve, go back to that fire hydrant real quick. That, I think, is probably our best gauge of just showing exactly how much rain is falling. So again, on top of our severe threat that we're dealing with, we mentioned localized flooding would be a concern, and while we're seeing it right here again, where Steve is in Newton's Grove in down, Steve. But again, across the street there, you can see that fire hydrant. That's what, about halfway up, and you think of how tall a fire hydrant is, right? It's about halfway up that's been covered. So again, a lot, and it's still raining. So a lot of rain has fallen. So if you have to hit the roads, I know it's Christmas Eve, a lot of you have plans. If you have to hit the road, be very, very careful this evening.
Yeah, I pull out a little bit because what we're having is we're just getting such vibration on the camera from the engine of the beast that it make it look like the fire hydrant is jumping in the water. There you go. It's stabilized a little bit there. But definitely, as we were coming down 40 before we got off onto the exit for State Highway 13, we saw a couple of accidents just beyond there. So, again, people are driving too fast for the weather conditions. We actually saw one person driving without any headlights or any taillights on. Got to remind you that state law says in North Carolina, if your windshield wipers are on, your headlights have to be on. And for goodness sakes, slow it down, because it doesn't take very much to hydroplane whatsoever. You get a little bit of water under there and you're doing 65, 70 miles an hour, you're off the road, buddy. That's for darn sure.
Yes,
right?
Very, very sure. Thank you, Steve. That's Steve Sprague in Newton Grove in Sampson County. I want to also go next now to CBS 17's Amy Cutler. She is in Wilson. I believe she's in the mobile news tracker. Amy, what are you seeing?
Well, I can tell you, Brian, the rain has really picked up in the last couple of minutes. It's been hard to see at times. The image that you're getting from the camera right now really does not do this justice. You can see those windshield wipers going pretty good. And we've got several cars in front of us. They've got their blinkers on because at points the rain has just been really intense. We're driving along 264 headed toward I-95. We wanted to get a look at the road conditions, and so many people maybe headed out. So we wanted to get a look at the road conditions, but it has been some really intense rain. We've also gotten some warnings on our phone to allow people to kind of get a heads up that some severe weather might be headed our way. But we are just making our way here in Wilson along 264. Not too many cars on the road at this hour, but certainly that rain has been very intense. Brian?
It has. Have you noticed as you're approaching Wilson, so you're approaching on the backside of the storm that we were concerned with the tornado warning, have you noticed any rotation in the clouds or any odd features in the clouds as you guys approach?
At this point, we have not seen that. It is just pretty dark. We've got those kind of gray, gloomy kind of scene here, but we haven't really been able to see any shapes in the clouds at this point. It's just pretty gray and gloomy at this point.
Okay, but you guys be very careful, because where you are is right over top of the rotation, just east of I-95, where it's still 795, 264, which is where you are. Just saw you pass the I-95 interchange, so be very careful. Keep an eye to the sky, because you're right in the thick of it.
Thanks for that heads up. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So that's CBS 17's Amy Cutler. She's in our mobile news tracker. She's in Wilson County, right over top of where the rotation is, as it's right over top of 795, 264, just to the east of the I-95 interchange, where you head off towards Goldsboro, the 795 interchange there, or the 264 interchange. They're heading eastbound, so they're right over top the area of rotation. The good news with this is that the rotation is a little weaker and a little smaller than what we've seen, so that is a sign that perhaps this is trying to weaken a bit, but it's still there. That's why I'm telling you to be careful, because she's right on top of where it is. So if there is anything, she's going to see it. So those of you in back, if she yells, let me know. We'll go right to her, because she's exactly where she needs to be, actually. So again, that's right on top of 64, the 264, 795 section. So again, that's right here. Those of you who may drive 264 daily, you know exactly where I'm talking about, just east of the I-95 interchange, where it's still 795 for a while before that splits off going southbound to Goldsboro. That's exactly where this rotation is. So the good news is this rotation should should miss the city of Wilson based on the direction that it's heading. This, though, is starting to hug a little closer to the I-95 corridor. So this rotation may kind of ride the interstate here for a while, or at least be very close to it. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. And, you know, this warning is set to expire in 4 minutes. So we'll see if this even is allowed to continue. Again, there is still some rotation, so it would not surprise me if the Weather Service continues this warning. But it is looking weaker than it did when the warning was first issued and as this moved into Wilson County. That's good news. In fact, there's our new update in from the radar. So let me clear this. So the rotation's now a little further north, northwest of Wilson, heading towards really right on top of the Wilson-Nash County line, just east of I-95. So the rotation is weaker, so it wouldn't surprise me if the Weather Service lets this expire and they may watch it and reissue that warning. So we'll keep an eye on this one here. But I'm optimistic that this is now a weakening storm. So that is obviously good news. That's what we want to see happen. And in fact, if you look at the regular radar picture, it is not as impressive as it was a few minutes ago. So this storm is definitely weakening, likely because it's moving into a little more stable environment. It's been raining more the further north you head across our area. So hopefully it's starting to run out of some gas and fizzle out, or at least weaken. So that's good news on that. Again, we'll keep an eye on that. That warning expires here in 4 minutes, 3 minutes now. And so we'll keep an eye on that. Our other warning is down here into I'll come back to that in just a second. So another warning is down here in the Sampson County. The Weather Service has answered my question of what they were going to do. We still have a very significant rotation here in Sampson County. This is, again, right now it's to the east of Clinton. That's along the, let me zoom in a little closer here. So again, this is now just northeast of Clinton, right along just south of the NC 403 corridor here, west of NC 117, which that's over into Duplin County. But if this holds, this is heading towards Wayne County. And again, this is pretty good rotation here. And again, this is set to expire in 2 minutes as well. I expect this warning will be extended as a tornado warning. Let me zoom out because the Weather Service, as I mentioned, answered my question of what they were going to do. They have now dubbed, they will let this tornado warning for Wilson, Edgecombe, and Nash County expire. It has been replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Edgecombe, Halifax, Nash, and Wilson County. That goes until 5:45. They did tag it tornado possible. That is a downgrade from a tornado warning, but is an upgrade of a regular severe thunderstorm warning. So, as I mentioned, the rotation's weakening. The Weather Service obviously now agrees with that. They have downgraded the warning as it moves northward to severe thunderstorm tornado possible, which means, though, at any point they may upgrade again to a tornado warning. But the threat is diminishing or decreasing, which is why they downgraded to severe thunderstorm tornado possible. So that's good news for those of you in Wilson, Edgecombe, Nash, and eventually in the Halifax County. Again, we have to keep watching it, though. That doesn't mean the threat's gone. It just means the threat has lessened compared to what it was whenever we started with a tornado warning as it moved through Wilson earlier. Our second warning, our southern warning, also expires at 4:30, the Sampson County warning, so that's 30 seconds on that one. The Weather Service hasn't issued an update that. Again, I expect they may continue that one as tornado based on simply the fact that the rotation is still there. So we're going to have to see what they decide to do here in the next 20 seconds. But the northern warning will expire and be replaced with the severe thunderstorm warning. The southern warning is the question mark of what they're going to do. Those of you in Clinton, you're now all clear, though. That's now to the northeast of you. And again, the northern warning has just expired. The radar I'll drop that here in about 2 seconds when we officially hit 4:30. And so there, that one drops. And as of now, they haven't reissued the warning, but they may be redrawing it. So I'm going to give this a couple of seconds. Let me loop this while we're here. And if they don't reissue it, we'll send you to regular scheduled programming and then come back to you at 5, unless the back has anything else they want to. They have issued also severe thunderstorm tornado possible. Okay, so right now there are no active tornado warnings for now. I want to stress for now. They've been replaced with severe thunderstorm tornado possible. Edgecombe, Halifax, Nash, and Wilson counties until 5:45. Johnston, Sampson, Wayne, and Wilson counties are until 5:30. So as of now, there are currently no active tornado warnings, but we do have severe thunderstorms tornado possible, which means we could see an upgrade at any point. So we'll be vigilant. Again, our tornado watch that is in effect as for all the areas pretty much we've talked about. This goes until 10 o'clock this evening, so we're not done yet. We'll have to keep watching these thunderstorms as we move north, as they move north and east across our area. But for now, there is no active tornado threat